Hi traders, this is the pound yen. So we've had a really nice move on the pound yen, and this week we have UK jobs and retail sales. So the very fact this market has come up to 11155, I would now look for a pullback in this one. I'm going to concentrate on this one this week, looking for this to see if we could potentially at least end up in that resistance area there. Obviously if we close back underneath 155 tomorrow, then this is dust and we could be heading for 150, but yeah, sweet move. And I think the 50-day moving average is some distance away, which the market just generally doesn't like to do. It likes to come and retest it every now and again. You can see after this big drop, it came back to retest the 50, then got the next leg down, came retested. So we're due a retest. So something around this area from 155, potentially getting close to 160, is could be on the books, and that's a pretty convincing move. So that's something I'll be looking at here. The pound US is also a nice chart pattern, but not as good. We're already slung right into resistance there. If this is a box play at the moment, we came out of the box here and here. Otherwise we've been pretty much in this range. So with a box play, if this is a short box play, then we could hit that resistance line and then start the slope down, back down again. Okay, so in the meantime, that is a good finish above the 50-day moving average. So we could potentially at least retest 143 and potentially and possibly higher. Okay, Euro was pretty pathetic today. If we come out of the bottom of this, if we break 11260, then I think that could drop hard, potentially right back to this area down here. So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, yeah, this has held up, and we could come and test 113. And nothing much else to report. Let's have a look at a couple of others. US dollar CAD. So we gapped up and filled the gap and kept down. And you can see I've got this potential three-way move pinned here, which dragged that up. But it's consequently sold quite heavily, so I'm just leaving it alone. And so what else have we got? Aussie US, that's held up really well. And got some Aussie data coming out. Just be wary of that chart pattern. But all the time we are in this, we could still accelerate higher. Okay, that's a decent close. That's the highest close since, let's have a look. That's the highest close since June last year. Okay, so a good 9-10 months ago. Seeing as the pound is the flavour of the month, let's just look at some other pound pairs. That is the pound Aussie, still looking weak. Pound CAD gapped up and sold off into strength. Let's have a look at indices. This is the DAX. So again, nice close, closed above the 200 EMA now. And so at the moment, yeah, this is a problem area, but we have held up well, so I would not personally trade that. The Dow has just closed above 18,000, so that looks as if that is onwards and upwards. Okay, and pull back to 930. So if 930 holds tomorrow, that could be good. Oil, gap down and very hastily closed the gap. that makes life tough. But based on that response, I would suggest you might want to get into that, and a retest of 40 will be perfect. So that's a close at 41.30, so I think 40 is a good potential target. A couple of stocks, and let's just look at Barclays. Yeah, I'd love to see Barclays dip a little lower into 160, but I think that's a nice sweet move. I think it is a little. I think we will see some potential profit taking up here. So if you're interested in that one, then try and wait for a lower. And Lloyd's looking good. Hasn't quite filled the gap at the 60s. Oh, yes, yeah, it's just about filled the gap. What else am I looking at? BT's had a good day. That's a pullback at 450. And a couple of US stocks. Okay, got Qualcomm's got some resistance above. Goldman's pulling back. So I'd wait for, if you're interested in that one, we'll look out for 156. And Facebook. I like Facebook. That's. I think this could run well. I'm just looking at this price action here from November last year. A couple of big squirts above it. I think that could potentially really run. I think the buyers are coming in here. So I'm going to be nibbling on that one. Alright, hope that helps, and see you next time.